Little shelter. Got snowed on. There's a pandemic going on. We just had a major storm. There's lots of places without power, so we're bugging out to a secure location. Sweating after breaking that trail, but we made it to the bug out location. Pretty decent spot. I'll show you around a little bit, but first I want to talk about the gear I brought, why I brought it, and what I would do differently. So obviously there are a couple of things that my gear had to cover, which is obviously shelter, warmth, water and food. Those were the main things. And then for me, I didn't want to have to go and buy a lot of stuff, so it had to be made up mainly of stuff that I already had lying around, and it had to be appropriate for winter because it's winter now. So first item that you might have noticed is the Usgi Poncho by Therm-A-Rest. I'd never seen this before. This is the only piece of gear that I actually purchased especially for this. It was my birthday recently and my wife gave me a gift card, and I was gonna get the whoopee, but I saw this and I thought this was better, and I'll explain why I thought it was better. So the reason I thought the Usgi Poncho would be better than the whoopee is because this is my second item. This is a USGI poncho in a Marpac camo. This is going to be my shelter, but obviously you can also use it in the rain. But the reason I went with the Usgi Poncho and not the whoopee, obviously the whoopee you can tie into this and turn into a sleep system, but in the winter I'm less likely to do that. And if you notice, I can just throw the waterproof poncho over the Usgi Poncho. What I didn't like about the whoopies is they didn't have a hole for your head. So in the winter, if you were stuck, maybe you were on the move and all of a sudden you get stuck in one spot, this you can just throw it on over whatever you're wearing, and then you can throw the Usgi Poncho, throw the waterproof poncho straight over this. You see? So if I'm wearing this already, I can just throw that straight over. I don't have to tie it out into corners and stuff like that. which I quite like that idea. Someone might tell me I'm wrong, I don't know, but that was my thinking anyway. Next item, of course, is my little bug out weapon of choice. This is my Ruger 1022 takedown with the little 4x32 UTG mini scope on it. It's a good little weapon, cheap ammo. It's the takedown version, which means it comes apart, packs down into 2 pieces. Ideally, I would get, they sell a different stock where they can connect the 2 like that and it clips in, but this is what I have, so yeah, it's just your pretty standard 22 rifle. Next, we'll go through all the stuff in my bag, but first, down here I have a wool blanket, and wrapped inside this wool blanket I have a Fleece sleeping bag liner. Now I'll admit I'm not much of a prepper at all. I just thought with everything that's going on in the world it might be a bit of fun to do and something a little different. So if there's stuff in my pack that is missing or things that you would do differently, let me know. Drop me a comment down below. Okay, so that's everything that's in that bag all laid out. I'll go through it all individually because it's kind of hard to get it to lay flat on the snow. So I'll start over here. So first off, in this dry bag, I simply have a spare thermal undershirt, spare thermal underwear, and a fresh pair of socks. Over here I have some cordage. I have what I use for my Ridgeline. It has pre-tied prusik knots on it. Then I've got a couple of different lengths and a roll of bank line. I then have a couple of aluminum tent stakes. I have 2 that are holding up my bag as well. I then have silky big boy saw because it is winter, and for example last night it was -8 and it's going to be 20 degrees tonight, but I'm not going to have a fire. Here we just have some bits and pieces that are in the front of the bag. I have a headlamp, I have some Yuko candles, some super glue, duct tape, cotton balls covered in Vaseline as fire starters, an emergency blanket. Up here I just have a couple of packets of Mountain House freeze-dried food with a long handle spork in there. I have a case of 22 ammunition of the CCI Subsonics. They're a little bit quieter. Then I have a very poor medical kit because I need to get a medical kit. I need to buy one. I have some teas and coffees because it's winter. And then I have a toothbrush. One thing I never see in people's bug out kits is a toothbrush, but I've got one in mine. Then down here I have my Catadine B3 water filter, 1 litre for filtering water. For my cutting tool I have my Benchmade Bushcrafter. I have my ferro rod to start a fire. I also have a Bic lighter. I would probably add a multi-tool as well and some waterproof matches. And then up here I have my Twig Stove. This is my solo stove, 1-person Twig Stove. Ideal in the winter because there's, well, in the woods anyway, because there's twigs all around. I can use it with my Keith titanium canteen and pot set that comes with the carry case that you can throw over your shoulder, so I can boil water in that, I can boil water in that, can use it to eat, I can use it to collect water. And then up here I have my mattress pad, my normal mattress pad, and I'll talk about that. So yeah, obviously I brought my mattress pad, my inflatable mattress pad should I say, and I wasn't going to bring this. In an ideal world this wouldn't be in there. I would have some sort of bivy bag or something to make a browse bed. The reason I brought this instead is, well, I looked at the foam ones, but they were all so wide that they stuck out from the side of the pack, so it made the silhouette a lot wider. But also, if you've watched my channel before, you've watched some of my older videos, I've talked about, obviously, making beds with pine boughs. And for the purpose of the 12 hours I'm going to sleep on it for a YouTube video, I'm just not going to do it, just because there's so many examples of it online already. If you want to look it up, a browse bed, pine bough bed, whatever, you can do. But I just don't want to hack a bunch of limbs off trees for the sake of this video. I just don't. So that's why I've got this. But in a real bug out situation, I would have something to make a browse bed from, because this isn't very mobile. Once you've inflated it, if you want to get up and go, everything else, the wool blanket, the reason I brought the wool blanket and stuff is I can just roll it up, clip it to the bottom of the bag, and I'm out, you know. Whereas this, you have to deflate it and sit on it. And a browse bed, you can just dump it out, roll it up again, stuff it in your bag, whatever, and go. But like I say, for the purpose of these videos, for an overnight trip, I just don't feel like it's worth cutting stuff off trees for it when you can. There's so many videos of people doing it already, it just seems pointless. So yeah, so that's why I've got this. So next step is to set up my shelter, which I'm going to do from this tree to that tree. So try and get some of this off. Try and make a nice spot to sleep. This snow's actually quite light and fluffy. Down by us it was super wet, slushy snow. All the trees were breaking, all the power was out, so. In fact, I saw a lot of energy company trucks on the way up here fixing power lines. Oh, right down the neck. If you get a glimpse of my butt, I'm sorry. I've got a hole in my pants still from when I slid down that hill. And if you haven't seen that, I'll show you now. Drop it in. Okay. Get your ass wet, but oh, wow. Right, next step, ridgeline. Right, I imagine this is going to have to be quite low down. The quick release Marlin spike hitch. Marlin or Marlin, I don't know. Is it Marlin like the fish, or is it Marlin like Marlin Wayans? And then on this end, Do a trucker's hitch. I just got to attach my poncho to my line with my prusik knots. I'm gonna do an A-frame configuration because it's supposed to snow tonight, and I've found personally that when using some type of tarp shelter, if there's any type of precipitation, your A-frame is your best shout. I've actually got 3 prusik knots pretty tied to this just in case. I need a third one for some reason. Right, that's a little high, so I'm gonna have to drop this down and stake it out. So once I've done that, I'll get with you. You don't want to watch me retie this line. Okay, so what I ended up doing in the end to make my A-frame, rather than go centre to centre lengthways, I went corner to corner, opposite corner to opposite corner, and then staked them out. Just use a bit of cordage to make a lark's head that I could then stake into the ground. Looks like Batman flying through the sky right now. Well, looking at that, it's not really going to do a right lot to keep the snow off me, but one of the disadvantages of being tall, I guess, is what it is. But right now I think I'm gonna make a chair first, and then I'm gonna get some twigs and boil some water. Karate! 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 Oh, it's cold. Oh, well, not so much a chair as it is a perch. Well, it's better than sitting in the snow, right? Right, now I'm going to boil some water. I use the Twig Stove, so I gotta go get some twigs. Like I said, I'm not going to have a fire because I feel like in a bug out situation you won't want to have a big fire. And also it's going to be about 19-20 degrees tonight, so I want to test how well that sleep system will work in those type of temperatures. So we'll see. Feels like it's going to be a long night. Right. Oh yes. Oh yes. Got some twigs. Got my Twig Stove. Got my fire starter. Gotta get some snow collected up in here. How much does this need? I'm having the breakfast skillet for dinner. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. Breakfast foods for dinner. 355 mil. I'm just gonna fill this thing up with snow and we'll see where she goes from there. Try and not get a bunch of twigs in there, which I did. That's okay though. Bit of trail spice. Oh, so cold. Ah, get off my finger. So. I need to turn that. Where'd the little my lid when it starts to burn down a bit. But whilst that's burning down, maybe there was one more thing in my bag. Told you, I'm a bad man. This one's for you, Bob. You're always telling me in the comments I should drink more Corona. Typically, I don't drink Corona until after Cinco de Mayo, but it's a big one just for you. Cheers, guys. Ice cold. Oh, that's real cold. So very refreshing. Oh. Oh. Grande cerveza for a bushcraft beefcake. Okay, let's get this bad boy in here. I am starving. Don't need that. So while I'm waiting for that, figured I'd show you my sleep system. This is a Fleece Field and Stream sleeping bag. They say it's a 50-degree sleeping bag. I'd consider it a sleeping bag liner. So I've got that. And in, obviously, wool blanket, queen size. And then the poncho, which turns into a blanket, which can go on top of that. And the reason I chose this for a bug out situation is they're all synthetic. So like if I brought my down sleeping bag and it got wet, it would be no good. It wouldn't retain its heat. So I went with everything synthetic, which is a bit bulkier, but it wasn't a lot of weight to carry. And in the winter it makes more sense. So that's what I've got. Alright, well I feel like this didn't have enough water, but it should be ready. Big bag of mush. It's a little dry still. With a pine needle in there, but I'm starving. I don't care. It's getting dark as well, so it's actually good. The breakfast skillet's my favourite. I haven't had that many of these, but the breakfast skillet is always the best. So I'm going to eat it. And I'll get back with you in a little bit. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea if you can see me. It's ridiculously bright in my eyes, but it's dark. It's cold. I'm cold. I'm getting tucked up in bed, which is actually pretty nice and warm. I feel pretty toasty right now. So, yeah, I'm just gonna lie here. Got a little candle going, a little night light. Gonna see if I can get some sleep for a little bit. I know I'm probably gonna be up in the night, but oh well, fingers crossed, wish me luck. Yeah, that's better. Good morning. It's snowing. It snowed most of the night, to be honest. It's like 5 AM now. It's cold. It actually feels like it got warmer during the night, but that's usually what happens when it snows with the cloud cover, right? As you can probably see. Little shelter. Got snowed on. Ended up getting out the emergency blanket. The head wasn't bad. Sort of tucked in over that side a bit more. Oh. Yeah, over towards the bag is, and that was fine. It's just the feet. So we got the emergency blanket out, added an extra layer of warmth, helped keep the feet dry. But yeah, it did okay. I mean, for the weight of the thing, in the winter, I mean, I'd probably get just bring my rain jacket and a 5x, no, not a 5x7, a 10x7 tarp or something, or even a 10x10, just to keep the snow off you, because once you get wet, that's when you get cold, right? So anyway, I just figured I'd check in with you guys because I'm up when I get back in there, and just chill out till it gets light. So well, I'm not gonna lie and say it was the best sleep I've ever had, because it definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't the warmest, but it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. The main problem is when you have layers like that, it's trying to keep all the layers in line with each other, because as soon as you don't, then you start creating a cold spot. So that's the most difficult part. So maybe the way forward would be a synthetic sleeping bag. I don't know. Like I say, this is a winter bug out as well. So, and the purpose was not to have a fire and see how warm I could stay without a fire. But this is what it is. But yeah, if you like this, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you on the next one. Take it easy.